the Securities and Exchange Commission. We have Commissioner Quevedo, who is here with us. Sir, you have the floor. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. The Securities and Exchange Commission supports the two bills that are the subject of this hearing. In fact, Senate Bill number 603 incorporates the salient provisions of the SEC memorandum addressing the same topic. Actually, we have a short presentation, if I may be allowed to present the PowerPoint.
Yes, please proceed, Your Honor.
PowerPoint. Yeah. Yes. Next slide, please. Ayan. So the can we have the
slide before that?
Dito.
Yan.
Oh, yeah. So we have the SEC regulations to prevent unfair debt collection. We have the SEC Memorandum Circular number 18, which addresses the prohibition on unfair debt collection practices of financing companies and lending companies. We have Memorandum Circular number 4, series of 2021, which is an amendment of MC number 16 of 2018, or the guidelines on anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism for SEC-covered institutions, the 2018 AML CFT guidelines, and MC number 29, series of 2020, or the 2020 guidelines on the submission and monitoring of the money laundering and terrorist prevention program. We also have Memorandum Circular number 3, series of 2022, which addresses the implementation of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas Circular number 1133, series of 2021, on the ceiling on interest rates and other fees charged by lending companies, financing companies, and their online lending platforms. We also have Memorandum Circular number 5, series of 2023, which addresses the Financial Products and Services Consumer Protection Act of 2022. The SEC implementing also the following circulars to prevent unfair debt collection practices of its regulated financing and lending companies, namely the Memorandum Circular number 18, series of 2019, which is the prohibition on unfair debt collection practices of financing companies. This circular prohibits unfair debt collection practices by financing and lending companies, covers confidentiality of information of borrowers, outsourcing the conduct of collection to a third-party service provider, which shall be regarded as agent of the financial and lending companies, and penalties such as fines, without prejudice to any other penalties such as suspension of their licenses and revocation also of their licenses. We also have Memorandum Circular number 4, series of 2021, which is an amendment of MC number 16, or the guidelines on anti-money laundering and combating the financing of terrorism for SEC-covered institutions. All financing companies and lending companies are required to comply and to register with the AMLC's online registration reporting system pursuant to the Anti-Money Laundering Council registration and reporting guidelines. Financing companies and lending companies shall formulate and implement a comprehensive and risk-based money laundering and terrorist financing prevention program. We have also Memorandum Circular number 3, series of 2022, which is the implementation of the BSP Circular 1133, series of 2021, on the ceiling on interest rates and other fees charged by lending companies. This circular requires the submission of business plans indicating the company's loan products and services, as well as the applicable pricing parameters, which includes disclosure on the following collections customer service process, program, and workflow of collection process, third-party service providers, and compliance with MC number 18, series of 2019, which is section 4 in the handling of collection accounts and customer service. The SEC also issued Memorandum Circular number 5, series of 2023, which contains the rules and regulations of the Financial Products and Services Consumer Protection Act of 2022. This circular highlights the provision of the FCPA that financial service providers and their collection agencies, counsels, and other authorized third-party representatives are prohibited from employing abusive collection or debt recovery practices against their financial consumers. It further states that a financial provider shall be responsible for the acts or omissions of its directors, trustees, officers, employees, or agents in marketing financial products or services and in transacting with a financial consumer. Next slide, please. These are, we have the honor to present to this committee the summary of the complaints and nature of violations. From January to September 15 of 2025, the SEC has acted on a total of 5,415 complaints from the public involving financing companies, lending companies, and their online platforms. Of this number, a total of 3,570 complaints, or 66%, involves unfair debt collection practices or collection harassment. Of the 3,570 complaints involving unfair debt collection, 3,315 complaints were lodged against unregistered FCs, LCs, and OLPs, while 435 complaints were against unregistered entities and or unrecorded OLPs. Next slide, please. As to the number of entities subject of complaints, our data indicates a total of 108 entities. This breaks down into 65 registered FCs and LCs and 43 registered entities and or unrecorded OLPs. It is important to note that all 65 registered entities utilize TPSPs and are currently under close monitoring by the SEC and law enforcement agencies. Next slide, please. The enforcement actions. Actually, we want to report, Mr. Chair, that the problem is the unrecorded, unregistered online platforms. These are the people, these are the institutions that are being the subject of complaints. These are the lending companies that are not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And so they are actually the subject also of the PAOK, wherein the SEC has been cooperating with PAOK regarding these complaints. In fact, we have even raided that financial lending institution that was supposed to be the cause of a certain suicide, Your Honor. We have raided that place, and together with the PAOK, we secured the necessary search warrant, and we found out that mostly these are manned by our kababayans also, who are doing the spill of doing the threats. And we found out that they have a laptop in front of them and actually typing or encoding the threats against the lenders, and they're actually only receiving minimum wage pays. So it is this unregistered online platforms that should really be addressed by the law enforcement agencies. I must note, Mr. Chair, that while the SEC is empowered to conduct investigations, we have no police power. We cannot raid these institutions without the enlisting the help of our law enforcement agencies. While the SEC has also been active in prosecuting crimes, financial crimes, we have been empowered by the Department of Justice. We have secured the conviction of several people involved in financial crimes. It is in the law enforcement of the unregistered OLPs and financial lending institutions that is really the problem. Next slide, please. This is the summary, Your Honor. The table provides the data relevant to the enforcement actions of the SEC against financial companies and lending companies. Further, as part of the proactive monitoring of the SEC, the following enforcement actions have been implemented: issuance of show cause letters, notice of deficiencies, assessment letters, conduct of walkthrough examinations, desk review, and on-site audits. I would like also to report to this honorable committee the proposed action by the Securities and Exchange Commission. We intend to use blockchain technology. In fact, we have already, we are in active coordination with the blockchain people. In fact, the bill of Senator Bam Aquino on blockchain, we are ready to implement it already at the SEC level. This is necessary for transparent dissemination of information to borrowers and the public regarding loan products, interest rates, online lending platforms, and third-party service providers. We also intend to use artificial intelligence, as I mentioned, blockchain technology, and since our national ID system is still not reliable, we intend to introduce the Unified Lending Identification, or the ULI, wherein we aim to establish a ULI to provide easy access to credit facilities through authenticated data. I will discuss this later, Your Honors, because this is necessary because, as I said, while we have abusive lenders, we have abusive, there are also abusive borrowers. I must note that because sometimes they complain to us saying that inireklamo ko na ho, bakit nag-ooperate pa, bakit ako sinisingil pa. Kasi po, marami pong nagrereklamo na ang intensyon po ay huwag silang masingil. Yung pong mga sinasabi ko naman po na talagang abusive lenders, kapag nakita namin na registered, we immediately see to it after the issuance of the show cause order that their licenses are suspended and or revoked immediately. And kapag nagtuloy pa rin po ng operation, yun po ang kino-coordinate namin sa PAOK. But I have to note that there was even one instance that PAOK referred to us about 20,000 complaints. And we found out, dito sa 20,000 complaints na to, paulit-ulit lang po sila. At pagkatapos po, ang mahigit po kalahati doon, I must really admit this, there are abusive borrowers. Yung pong akala nila, pag inireklamo nila, yung mga financial lending companies, hindi na sila kailangan magbayad. Kaya ang SEC rin po ay kailangan din pong protektahan naman po itong industriya na to because it caters to the unbanked sector. According to statistics, more than 52% of our population can be called unbanked. Therefore, outside the banking sector, wala pong kapasidad na mangutang sa bangko. Ito pong mga financial companies na to, lalong-lalo na po yung in-issue ng Bangko Sentral na nag-a-allow ng 15% interest a month. Pero ito po ay applicable lamang doon sa mga borrowers ng less than 10,000 at less than 4 months. Ang SEC po ngayon ay pinag-aaralan kung tama pa po yung in-issue ng Bangko Sentral na ito. Dahil po ako bilang sa experience ko po, ang tingin ko po 15% a month should be termed as usurious. But the law already allows the Bangko Sentral to determine what is the usurious rate of interest. And ang pawn shops po allowed 5% a month. Pero ang pawn shops nga po, ang tingin ko po, secured naman po ang mga pawn shops. Kaya ang SEC po, we are conducting a study because SEC, after studying the law, is also empowered to impose a ceiling. So we are coordinating with the Bangko Sentral, wherein while now we are implementing their 15% ceiling, the SEC intends also to impose a lower ceiling on the borrowing rate, something like between 5% and 15%. Kasi po, ang pawn shops allowed naman ng 5%, pero secured po yon. Ito po unsecured.
Okay.
Kaya po, ang ginagawa po namin ay pinag-aaralan namin kung paano naman po maprotektahan itong industriyang ito. Kasi we have to make sure that they are viable, and therefore, it is more on the law enforcement functions.
Okay.
We are also 1 minute
Commissioner,
na lang
you
po.
can please wrap up, please.
We also intend to lift the moratorium on online lending platforms once the ULI is fully established and operational. So, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'd like to put on record, no, dito sa committee natin, we have gathered so many complaints about this abusive online lending apps. One Ola was found to charge a staggering 7% interest per day, no? And dito sa ating monitoring din, nakita natin yung efforts ng SEC, 2,081 financing and lending firms ni-revoke na yung certificate of authority nila. 74 companies were found to have violated the Lending Company Regulation Act of 2007 at 401 corporations ni-revoke na rin. Pero baka naman kasi paulit-ulit din itong mga kumpanya po na ito, no? At yung report din po na nakuha natin, some OLAs charge exorbitant interest rates, sometimes reaching 35 to 50% per month yung kanilang interest rate, no? So ito yung binabantayan po natin.